The police them is in some form of organization in Wagwan right now. You see me? Some form of organization in Wagwan because the police them a keep the community pinned down. As soon as them go and fly them and gone, in time shooting and go on them not nowhere near until in time shooting subside. And I community them a go and lock down back and bully the people them in our community.
Welcome back to MyView TV, the people's platform, the home of undiluted news, reviews, updates, and your daily dose of entertainment. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, leave us a comment, like, share, and subscribe.
I don't bring nobody forward in your cheer for me. Everything what you see happen, my natural talent. Let me tell you something. You see, when you know what to please the audience with...
Wagwan, my people, hope everybody know okay, hope everybody know right. Several men have been detained in connection with Tuesday deadly shooting in Spanish Town Market District in St. Catherine. The men were detained during a police military operation. All the waste of time, them on the road of Eagle. All of them. Rival gang shot 6 persons, killing 2 during the gun battle which started just after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The third individual was fatally shot by the police. That the boy deserved for dead long time. The injured persons are said to be in stable condition. If any of them dead, me I go make you know. So no need for worrying yourself. Ball to ball come and to get on this platform. Remember Stephanie? Yes, we favorite mistake. She don't come tell us watch her man. The violence is a continuation of the intra-gang feud in the one other gang. And only one other clans alone over there war. I'm tired for telling you that. More gang over there. A whole heap of gang in a Spanish Town, you know. Whole heap of gang. But because I tell the police them this, nobody give them boy in a bail, you know. Don't give me a bail for come on road, come do no foolishness. I want to tell the people them say there's a 10 scam. What do you mean? Me want to know what I mean by there's a 10 scam because people still are dead in a Spanish Town. Them a kill them and a take your body, them a carry them elsewhere, go put it down. But anyway, here Wagwan pan Wagwan now.
We have been assured that extra boots have been put on the ground, both from the JDF and the JCF. So in the market district, there would be extra security. So we're hoping that, we're telling the business people to come out and, open and do business. But consumers have been fearful, even from 2 weeks ago with the incident, the murders in railway lane. We have been feeling the effects of that since.
And them should open today. But you are going and them now open. Yeah.
Would the road be more full than this ordinarily?
Yeah. I know people have to be able to do business at the moment, shopping and things. So I don't know, say them are out. If I'm not this one, then now come out.
It will be a slow process of people coming back out.
It will be a slow day, a slow time. Yeah. So hopefully we just make it done and things come back as normal as usual.
It would have affected some of our students based on the area that they're living in.
Can you say what will happen tomorrow if the closing will be online for the remainder of the week?
It will be dependent on what is happening. I'm in dialogue with my regional office, the Ministry of Education regional office.
He is confident
that the police
afraid to go even work. People are afraid to send them people to go to school. Because 3/4 I get to come out going to school this morning. How much ears them are shooting and are going on them side of town. At the calmest place so everybody have it as the safest place. The police them is in some form of organization in Wagwan right now. You see me? Some form of organization in Wagwan because the police them are keep the community pinned down. As soon as them go and fly them and gone, in time shooting and go on them not nowhere near until in time shooting subside. And our community, them can lock down back and bully the people in our community.
But anyway, people, let me go to some more news, all right?
To the courts now, Chief Justice Brian Sachs has indicated his disinterest in accepting evidence relating to a firearm that investigators recovered with the help of an ex-gangster. Poor record keeping of the chain of custody is informing his decision. The doubt is drawing more attention to the historic gang trial that could become a landmark case in the region. Alleged Klansman gangster turned Crown witness told the enthralling story of how he recovered a rifle from defendant Royal Taylor under the pretense of repairing it. That was when he handed over the firearm to 2 investigators instead. These same investigators later testified how they entered the firearm into evidence. That evidence is now under threat of being disregarded by Chief Justice Brian Sykes, who took issue with how the chain of custody records were kept. After requesting the rifle be brought into the court, Sykes notes that when the rifle was brought into the Caymanas police station, neither detective sergeant had anything to do with the labeling of the firearm, and there was no record from the station clerk documenting where the gun was left that's consistent with witness testimony. He questions why the prosecution did not have that station clerk testify, as that would provide affirmative evidence. He ended the exchange by saying, "Let me put you out of your misery. The evidence is not good enough." Sykes also chided the prosecution for inadequate evidence in identifying defendant Jason Brown as Citypus. Calling back to recorded phone calls, the prosecution says being positively identified twice by their key witness and a detective proves that he is connected to the gang. Sykes, however, says credibility of the detective alone cannot stand. This same detective says he visited the Horizon Remand Center where Brown was allegedly held, so he could put a face to the voice of the man he heard on the recordings. Justice Sykes says he did not understand the reasoning behind having the detective go there without using technology to capture affirmative evidence. Sykes suggests, though cell site information indicates that a phone number assigned to Citypus made calls in the vicinity of the prison, inmate records could have confirmed his location at a certain time and further prove the detective's claim. Court resumes on Thursday at 11 a.m.
Let me go to some more news. All right?
If a person is a gangster and he is charged with an offense, it is very simplistic for a person to believe that that person being charged and granted bail is going to desist from continuing his lifestyle of gangsterism. It is just simple. If a person is a contract killer and he's charged with an offense of murder and he gets out on bail, am I to understand that he's going to desist from continuing his lifestyle of being a contract killer? And by our own experience, that has never happened. Persons who were granted bail for serious crime, murder, shooting, robbery, aggravation, and you name the other serious crimes, they were again being brought back before the court for similar offenses more than once. And that is what we have seen right across the island. We are now putting the data together. We want to make sure that the data is accurate to present. So we are saying that the Bail Act should be amended to reflect some changes, not only in terms of keeping people in custody. We look at from an investigative perspective. We might be doing an investigation where we see a person might be a flight risk, the person might try to escape justice, and the police may not be at the point where they are fully ready to effect an arrest. We believe that there needs to be a clause in the Bail Act where police, instead of taking a man in custody and lock him up for days, we can, what we call pre-charge bail. That person is taken in and granted bail by the police, by a superintendent of police with some condition. And a time limit is allocated to that period so that there is no abuse.
But anyway, people.
In my comments, if I had offended anyone when it was reported that I was calling for violence producer to be brought together in a summit, I can state categorically that I did not mention anything about the summit. It is my firm belief that if someone is wanted for a crime, they must be taken in custody, taken to court, so they can have their day in court. The government that I am a part of, we will never negotiate with criminals. My comments were aimed at rescuing the vulnerable youths, those that are easy targets for gangs, to rescue them from the abyss of destruction. My intention is to play a role in the disruption of the production line where criminal groups can easily recruit our youth.
The Constitution recognizes that there is a right to bail because there's a presumption of innocence. It doesn't mean you automatically get bail, because if the prosecution or the police can establish that there's a good reason why you shouldn't get bail, the judge won't grant you bail. The solution to the problem is not to take away the right to bail in the Constitution. The solution is to make sure that the police and the prosecution are prepared when there's a bail application so the right information is before the judge. And the judge can make the right decision. So we can't make slackness in the way that we prepare cases be a basis for taking away our rights. The People's National Party will not accept that. We will not join that. And we will defend the rights of the Jamaican people.
And I think that we are, as always, treating the symptoms and not the cause of the problem. Cause, you need to pay the police officers more money. You need to improve our ability to rely on scientific evidence to make sure that cases that when they come before the court, the only option for persons who are really guilty is to plead guilty. In other jurisdictions, many trials do not go to that extreme. Persons plead guilty. I'm particularly offended by virtue of the fact that there seems to be this insatiable appetite from certain quarters, wanting to blame the judges, always. And regrettably, our Bar Association, our Advocates Association, the legal fraternity, many of us sit down and don't call it out for what it is.
Blame them for what? Allowing people to go and bail who shouldn't
Spate
be
of crime, the judges. The judges are to be blamed. They acquit too many persons. Okay. They give too many bails. It's wrong. It's really wrong.
We in Jamaica, we haven't been able to have that true discourse, and we have been largely crippled, right, true and honest discourse. We have been largely crippled politically. There's a great fear and mistrust that any change in our legislation is somehow designed to take away people's rights and to be arbitrary. It will give some political advantage. And that is what has really been the main issue in our truly getting on top of the crime situation. The kind of criminality that we have, the type of criminality that we have, where people are at a setup and somebody just drive up and spray the place, that is a kind of criminal action that is designed to drive terror. It is becoming clear that the criminals are parading behind us, that they have no regard for human rights. They have no respect for law and order, that their intention is to destroy the confidence of the public in the state. It is to create anarchy. It is to create a space that they control, because I don't know if you know, but much of the gang war is about controlling space and territory. So we can't allow that to happen. So I think it is time that we have this serious discussion about the use of enhanced powers to treat with the level of criminal terrorism that exists in this country. It must, of course, obviously be properly defined when we say that someone is a criminal terrorist. And what are some of the actions that we must take to treat with criminal terrorists? We have to treat with it. We can't have a society where, because, yes, you have a constitutional right to your freedom to bail, but you get the bail, and the next thing you do, no recognition that you are under the recognizance of the state. You go there and you commit another crime. How many times have we seen persons who benefit from bail go out and commit another crime? And the profile of those persons are easily seen. There has to be a more robust process to determine how someone gets access to bail. Kind of criminal, a specific type of crime that demonstrates that its threat is of the level of being existential, meaning that it could threaten the very existence of the Jamaican state. So we need to have the debate, and our judicial system needs to take note of the frustration of the people. Justice is blind, but it should not be deaf.